I want to talk about love. It has been on my heart, and it is all about the mission of your unity.
I use the word unity is embracing where you are about and the community around you.
And so my point of departure is always stems from my faith.
Whatever's going to happen, God's people are going to be all right. And I want us to pause and just reflect on that one thing, that word love. It's 4 letters, such a short word, but it means so much.
And that energy naturally exudes,
Yes.
and people are attracted to those things.
It's just another moment for creative thought, and I think that has to be put out there for people to understand.
We can't control the whole world, but we can control ourselves. If each of us chooses love and unity in our own lives, the ripple effect can heal communities, cities, and nations. Welcome, everyone, to Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to build a strong financial footprint, especially right now, my friends. It is so important that we make sure that we're secure and stable in our financial future, and make sure that we're building generational wealth for our children and those that come up behind us. Regardless of how unstable or volatile the economy is, we should be able to thrive and survive in it. So let's change our relationship with money, and let's make sure that we are standing fast and doing everything that we possibly can to ensure that we're building a financial footprint that will be everlasting. I am your host, LeShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful start to March. I cannot believe that the weeks and months, everything is going by so fast. We just came out of, yes, what I feel is a continuous winter. Oh God, just a struggle. It is struggling to turn into spring. It is struggling to turn into sunshine. I feel like we have just been dealing with a whole lot of winter, a lot of cold, a lot of rain today. I am so over it. I cannot wait until the sun is out shining and the birds are chirping and we are outside in our t-shirts and our sweatpants and jeans and tank tops. I'm just so over this weather, my friends, and I'm sure that you guys are too. If you're on a beautiful vacation, please enjoy it. Bring the sunshine back here to New York, and yeah, just enjoy as much as you can of this beauty that you're probably experiencing in another country, because right now, my friends, it is not pretty outside. So, as I mentioned, it is the 1st of March. Today's the 3rd. It has flew by so quickly. We were celebrating so many beautiful things in February, and now we're moving on in the season. And I'm so looking forward to all that this season has to bring for everyone out there. I am a woman, and apparently it is Women's International Month. So I am so happy to be a woman that is out there doing big things in this world and trying to ensure that everyone out there is living a happy and joyful life. It is also about us just digging deep into who we are as a people. As you know, I share that with you every single week, that it's about love, it's about our integrity, it's about our character, it's about us building a better future also for our children and those around us in this world. So today I have a fabulous show. I want to talk about something a little different. I want to talk about our financial future. We can also be unified in that as well. So many of us, we grow up in families and households that weren't taught how to manage money properly. And it was unfortunate that we had to receive money by the passing of a relative or insurance money or things of that nature, when we could have all along been investing in and securing a financial future that would be long lasting. So I want to speak to that today, especially in this time, in this moment. We're dealing with a very volatile economy and an ever-changing world, and we need to teach our children how they can sustain anything that comes their way. So today, and it also being, I believe, National Credit Education Month, we're going to be speaking to an amazing gentleman who I met a few months ago. He happened to bless my event, the Voices of Unity event that I held in November, as one of the keynote speakers. And he shared so much important information that I'm really hoping is going to help you guys out there today. So the title of the show is From Credit to Capital, Strengthening Your Foundation for Financial Freedom. And we'll be talking to the amazing Joel Kraut. He is a real estate finance professor and author with more than 30 years of experience helping investors move from financial preparation to lasting wealth creation. As a direct private lender and nationwide commercial mortgage consultant, he guides both first-time and seasoned investors in strengthening their financial foundation and strategically accessing the capital needed to grow and build long-term success across the United States. Based in New Jersey, Joel's mission is clear: to equip individuals with the structure, knowledge, and funding solutions necessary to invest confidently and achieve true financial freedom. So please help me welcome Mr. Joel Kraut. How are you?
Thank you very much for the amazing intro. Thank you, LeShawn.
Oh, thank you so much
Incredible.
for being here. I appreciate that. Well, this is all you,
I was
my
looking
friend.
for the guy behind my shoulder. See who he was.
This is you, 30 years of experience, my friend, and you, I apparently do it very, very well. I enjoyed your talk when you came for the Voices of Unity, when you blessed us with a beautiful story that I think sort of resonated with everyone. It wasn't all, jewels and roses and beauty. Like, you really went to the depth of your journey to this point. And I really appreciate, you being so transparent and honest about, us gaining financial freedom, but the hardship behind not doing so,
I feel like it's really important to do that. Too many people get up on their soapboxes, have the chance to beat their chest and tell everybody about their big victories. Yeah. But that's not for everybody, truthfully. I mean, a lot of people can't really relate to that on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. They're struggling, they're trying to figure out where they are, trying to understand themselves. And sometimes, look, you really need to just slow things down and allow people to gather themselves and feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
Because that's really where it starts from, right?
Yep.
You were talking in the opening about love and unity and reaching within yourself and showing yourself love. And then you talked about a couple of other things where you sort of begin to think about yourself as your own balance sheet, right? You're the CEO of yourself.
Yep.
And showing yourself self-respect, self-love, beginning to invest in yourself before you're worried about investing in other things, right? Right here first.
Yeah.
Get yourself under control and get your house cleaned up so you can feel good about yourself and you have a structure to work from. So
I love that.
look, I've been blown out.
Yeah.
I've done really well.
Yeah.
And I know really what it feels like to have a tough day. So trying to help people with that on a daily basis is really a big mission for me.
Well, I'm glad that you shared that story because, again, I questioned at first, when we had you on, like, how would you fit in to what the discussion was,
Absolutely.
And once I heard you speak and I share your story, it was so apparent that what you just said is what we need to do is invest in ourselves, and that, I think, was the point that was driven home for me, which is why I gained so much and felt it was so necessary for you to be here today, for you to show us that, yes, it is all about us pouring that love and that unity and that peace and our character and our integrity of being, the forefront of our minds and the way we move in this world. But we also have to realize that in order to maintain that, we have to be happy outside of that as well.
Absolutely.
And the way to do that is to invest in ourselves even deeper financially, which is so important because we don't realize how, that affects how we are happy, how we do live our lives, how we can be joyful every single day that we wake up. So I'm glad again that you shared that. So I want you to share with us real quick, actually, how you started on this trajectory, how Burr Loans even came about, and what you experienced growing up that made you want to be this big financial guru that you are.
Well, that's exceptionally generous. I mean, big financial guru, I hardly go there, but I'm a person that definitely tries to help people, and I understand, I really believe how important that is. I grew up in an apartment building, like many. I didn't grow up in, a 1 acre plot with a 5,000 square foot house.
Right.
I dreamed of it when we drive by. That's true.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure what it would even take to get there, but I thought that looked like amazing, because the biggest thing I noticed was the people who lived in those houses, people always waited for them. And me, my parents, myself, like, we were always driving to catch up.
Yep.
And it was stressful. I could see my parents, myself, and as I grew up, I remember I wanted to be a policeman first. My dad brought over a cop one day to talk to me out of that quickly. This is much harder than you think. This is not glamorous. Don't watch television and think, you're going to be on NYPD or something. And,
Right.
you're going to be wearing a $2,000 suit and getting all kinds of great things. It's not what it's like patrolling as a police officer. So we got talked out of that. But, going to school and trying to figure out, what you're really interested in wasn't as easy as you would think.
Right.
And I went to a school that was really busy, PS 131 in Jamaica, and then we went forward. I remember the days when they would lock in the classroom because it was safer to be in the classroom than the hallway.
Yep.
So I grew up a little different than my kids and a lot of people, truthfully. You would see things in the street, they'd leave a lasting impression on you. When I was a really young kid, I learned what a sniper was because the sniper was on the roof of my house when I came back. So
Wow.
on the apartment building. So, you learn things living in the inner city, and Jamaica, Queens isn't exactly, upper Manhattan or the Bronx,
Right.
but, back then it wasn't so simple.
Right.
I got the opportunity to go away to college, which was pretty amazing. And there I had like a whole different experience. Now I'm out in the country. I couldn't calm myself down because I was so scared there was no noise. I didn't know what to do. So
Wow.
it took me like a whole year just to slow down enough to actually enjoy the
Really?
surroundings. I was looking for blacktop. I'm looking for sirens at night. I
The
couldn't sleep.
hustle and bustle
Right.
of the city, and
Like
you
the
didn't
first
get
2
that.
months, I couldn't sleep at all because it was just so
Wow.
quiet.
Right.
I didn't know what to do in the middle of Pennsylvania. So,
Wow.
when I first came out of college, I worked at Eastman Kodak Company. And if you're old enough to know Eastman Kodak, they were the famous picture-making company, and they sort of imploded based on technology. And I learned a lot being there what I didn't want to do. I got very fortunate. I was in sales, and in my sales territory, I met a woman. Turned out her brother was a trader on Wall Street.
Okay.
And that was everything I dreamed of, because I would watch movies, I'd see something on television. Those people were really rich.
Yes.
They were cool.
Yes.
They drove the nice cars,
Yep.
right? And I thought, man, if I could ever do that, that would just be the best in the world. I had no idea how to get there. All I could ever find were like stockbroker jobs, and I didn't want to do that.
Right.
Right. I was already in sales, so I was going to go sell some more stuff for.
Right.
But when I met him, he just gave me a chance. We were about the same age. Ironically, his name was Joel as well. And he said, well, why don't you just commute and come out to Chicago and work with me?
Oh, wow.
So I did.
You relocated.
Absolutely. I used to fly out Monday, fly back Friday.
Wow.
When I left and resigned from Eastman Kodak, one of the crazy things happened was my immediate boss went in to see the big boss.
Right.
And the big boss wanted to talk to me. I'm like, whoa, that's odd. Why would they want to talk to me? I'm leaving. I'm a sales guy. I'm 24 years old. Who would care?
Right.
He wanted to talk to me because he didn't really understand the job I was going to go do. Right? Because so few people are really proprietary traders where they're literally trading their own money for themselves and don't have any clients.
Right.
My brother-in-law had built that up, and that's what I was going to go do.
Okay.
So it was a whole different world. For people out there that have seen the movie The Big Short, some of the derivative products that were used in that movie to hedge, trade against the housing market are things that we used to do on a daily basis. So it was a very different world. I remember sitting in college taking a math class in calculus, and just absolutely hating it on a daily basis.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, were you
Oh,
good at math that
God.
you just decided that, hey, let me take this
So-
sort of path?
I was so relieved when I got out of the class.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a friend tutored me. I think I squeaked out like a B minus.
Wow.
You know, and here I show up in Chicago, and the guy says, "Here, read this textbook." I flipped like page 4 of options as strategic investment, and there is the second derivative of calculus. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to read 180 pages of this. I'm going to put a bullet in my head.
Wow.
You know, so it was a very interesting experience. I was actually on the floor of the great crash in 1987. For those that were old enough to remember, but those that read about it, the market actually dropped 25% in one day. So it was the biggest historic move ever. We were very fortunate and did well that day, so it was a very unique experience. And from there, I had the opportunity, a couple of people we knew locally had built a house or two. And they came to us and said, hey, you know, we don't really have enough money to go to the bank yet and get financing. Maybe you and your partners would consider financing this deal for us. They were going to build 7 houses on a cul-de-sac.
Wow.
We got involved. We get 3 of the 7 houses sold, and 9/11 happens. We lose all the contracts in one night. I'm like, I can't believe I got into this business.
Wow. And this was your own money
Yeah.
that you were using?
Yeah, this is crazy, right?
And how did you How did you build up that capital so quickly, though? Because it sounds like it was a very short period of
Well,
time.
when we were trading, you know, trading is a little different world. If you are fortunate enough to gain some success, look, not all the stories you read about in the paper or see in the papers or online are true, but people do make different amounts of money.
Okay.
So you're talking about young people at the time that could make $1 million a year.
Wow.
You're talking about 1990, $1 million is a lot of money.
Yes.
You know, not that it's not a lot of money now,
But yes, back
1990
then, yes, for a
that's-
20-something-year-old kid,
Right.
that's a lot of money.
Yes. So all of a sudden, you know, things go dramatically crazy. Like I go from making like 40 grand a year at Kodak, which I thought was really good
Right.
because I was probably making it almost as much as my father.
Right.
And then like a year later, I made $250,000 in a year, and I didn't even know what it felt like. I couldn't even imagine.
Wow.
And my brother-in-law at the time was like laughing at me because he's made, you know, multiples of it,
Right.
and he's 1 year older. So I was in a completely different world. I had to relearn everything. You know, we have most of the cliche stories. We got way in over our head.
Right.
We did things way too fast. We
Right.
used too much leverage. You know, we thought we were invincible. Well, a lot of the things that you hear about, we did.
Right.
The crash happens in 08 through 9 and 10 in the real estate world. I own a lot of real estate investment properties, and I just get completely annihilated.
Wow.
I lose like $4.2 million
I read
in about
that.
18 months. Yeah.
How did you recover from that? Well, first of all,
Very
how
tough.
did you navigate it in the first place? Because I know it was a shock. And what did you learn from that experience?
Well, it was definitely a shock, to your point. There came a day when my wife at the time came downstairs. The girls, her 2 daughters who live with us, had just gone to school. And my wife's name is Melanie at the time. And Melanie says, look, you got to get off the couch. The girls are really scared. They're not used to seeing you sitting home, especially in shorts, eating cereal and watching daytime television. Like, you got to go do something because you're scaring us in the house. We don't know what to do.
Oh, he's watching the soap operas.
Right. So I think it was Dr. Phil or something, to be honest.
Oh my God.
But which I thought was entertaining for about 2 days, and then I didn't know what to do. And I think I was just doing it reflexively. I'm not even sure what I was watching.
Right.
But it took me about 6 months to get to the point where I realized what happened didn't kill me.
Right.
And then from there, I actually just went to work.
I love it.
And I got very fortunate. I found my way to a position where I got to use some of my real estate experience and my math experience, and together that came together.
Nice.
I didn't really know much about lending
Right.
and commercial lending in particular.
Right.
So we only lent to investors, no primary residences. And that's what we still do today. So I needed a career/job. I needed a job.
Right.
It'd be amazing if it could turn into a career.
Right.
I didn't know at the time it might.
Right.
But I needed something where you didn't have to invest any money and you could make money back out.
Right.
And this was like the perfect fit for me.
I love that.
And there was so much unrest, stress, incorrect pricing of assets because of the dislodging in the market,
Right.
that it was like the perfect storm. If you could just stay calm and see what was going on, I could help you figure out how to do something.
Right.
And that's really what began to happen.
I love that.
So, you know, we'd be busy. I'd be busy. I'd work 80 to 100 hours a week. People say, you work too much. I'm like, listen, you don't really understand what happened here.
Exactly.
And
You're
I
trying
gotta
to
go-
rebuild.
Right. I got to go take care of a lot of things.
Yep.
You know, I got
It's time to rebuild.
7 kids, 2 ex-wives. I got mortgages. Like, no one cares.
God.
And I'm not saying they should.
Right.
But I need to take care of business. So please, your own
Exactly.
comments,
Let me
you can
do
keep
what I
them to
need
yourself.
to do. Thank you.
And, you know, I'll catch up with you down the road.
Wow.
So we were very fortunate. The real estate markets began to stabilize around 2011 and 12.
Okay.
And we got to use the knowledge we had doing something that was now beginning to grow.
Right.
I didn't know that would happen. And I know when I was here in November, one of the things I had mentioned, and I pretty much mention every place I go, I didn't know that would happen.
Right.
And there was no givens or guarantees.
Right.
But I feel exceptionally fortunate that it did.
Yeah.
And from that, one of the things, what did you learn? I learned humility, kindness, and acutely aware of others now
Right.
that I wasn't before.
Right.
And in doing so, I feel like it's my responsibility to help others
Yes.
so they can navigate that map and roadmap, because, you know, life shouldn't be a contest of who can just survive the most pain.
Yes.
You know, that's not what this really is all about.
You're right.
I mean, we all have to go through, and we all have our stuff. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yes.
But I believe you would agree with me, if we could find a circle
Yeah.
where you could feel it's safe to discuss it
Yeah.
and talk about it
Yeah.
and slow things down enough so you could gain better perspective and deal with it, it could really help you dramatically on your journey, because it's a journey. Look, every day is not going to be perfect,
That's right. That's right.
but you got to keep showing up. You can never quit.
I love
And
that.
if you do that, surprisingly, after 90 days and 180, and then 1 full year, and you look back, you can't even believe where you are.
I know. Well, that sounded like you did. You went through a lot, and just as quickly as I feel like you gained it, it was just as quickly as you lost it. But but you snapped out of it. You got back on the horse, and you found a different lane, clearly.
Right.
And you were able to use the knowledge that you had gained from the mistakes to sort of build what you have right now. So let me ask you, when we say from credit to capital, what does that really mean for the average person watching? Because I'm sure that your credit got totally, like you said.
It's a comedy. It's actually a comedy.
You probably was the most sought out person, and then as soon as that happened, your credit was decimated. So but now you've reestablished yourself. So what does that actually mean, and how important is it for us to maintain, considering it's National Credit Education Month, to maintain a good credit standing?
For so many people out there, they don't really understand how hard it is to actually get credit scores in the 400s. So when I came out of the crash in 08 through 10, I had a friend run an actual credit report for me. I ripped off the first page, which showed the 3 scores, and I threw the rest away because it was hurtful to look at.
Right.
But my 3 scores were like 472,
Wow.
I think 490, and I had a 512.
Wow.
And I carried that around in my backpack for years, just to remind myself of what could happen if you lose control. Look, for all of us, every single day, it's important to be working on our credit scores.
Yes.
The profile, cleaning up the report, making sure there's no mistakes on it. Because if you're sitting out there today and you have a 550, 580 credit score, it's not a death sentence. It's really not. You can use your brain. You can work really hard. You can have a high level of honesty and integrity, and you can show people that, and they'll work with you. They're not going to stop and ask your credit score. If they do, address it directly. Be honest. But also tell them what you're doing to clean it up, right? Show people you're being proactive.
Right.
And that will change how people look at you. So yes, you obviously want to continue to build. And over the long journey, you're also going to learn, if you want to really build long-term wealth, and whether it's investing in real estate or other products, not products, but assets, you're also going to need to use business credit. But to get business credit going at a high level, you're going to have good, clean personal credit. if you're going to get health insurance, if you're going to get life insurance, if you're going to get car insurance,
Right.
all these companies, whether it's legal or not, are always looking at your credit scores, and that's going to factor in what your payments are. So again, those are subtle, quiet, not often spoke about
Yeah.
reasons to go clean it up for yourself.
Yes.
So taking simple measures to help yourself is really important. But again, look, I started in the high 400s, which is, I'm laughing now, but believe me, it's no joke. It's really, really debilitating emotionally, mentally. You feel like you're never going to get through it, but you will.
Yes.
You're going to show up each day, and you're going to do one thing to improve each week. And if you can continuously do that, after 12 weeks, 18 weeks, 1 year, you'll be shocked where you are.
Yeah.
And that really begins to change everything for you.
How do you suggest we do that? I mean, you know, for a lot of people out there that we're living check to check, we weren't taught as children or young adults, you know, how to manage money properly. We don't have good relationship with money. It's sort of something that we use to just get what we need, and that's it, and not use the power of it for us for longevity, you know? So how do you suggest we do that? And I understand, you know, putting aside a little bit of money and making sure that you're not overspending, those things are important, but how do you ensure that you can maintain a good credit standing in the world that we're living in today, as volatile as it is, and for people who are not as educated about it?
So, look, to me, the great equalizer is the phone.
The phone.
The phone is everything today, right? It doesn't matter where you go, how expensive the neighborhood, or how difficult and challenging the neighborhood, everyone has a phone, right? Somehow somebody is paying $49 to $99 a month for your phone for you.
Yes.
Either you are, a parent, a grandparent, someone.
Right.
How much time are you going to spend scrolling, or how much time are you going to spend using that as a tool to help yourself?
Right.
Is going to help determine where you're going.
Right.
Like the wealthy, the rich people, we see them on television, we see them on Instagram at times, not TikTok so much, but you know, everywhere socially.
Right.
They're putting out the blueprint, and the blueprint always starts with one basic theme:
Right.
a budget. It's really uncool. It's absolutely not sexy.
No, it's not.
But until you figure out what you're actually spending
Right.
and what you need to spend on versus what you want to, and then how much money you really bring in, you're not going anywhere.
Right. Right.
You need to do that as a starting point.
Yeah.
Whether you're making $12,000 a year, 50, 100, whatever the number is. Because look, I know the really well-to-do people, they drive a really expensive car, they go out to restaurants, but if you look at it, they're still living off a budget. Now, that budget might look a lot different than mine, that's true. But it's under control, and they know where they are. And if it's good enough for them, it should be good enough for all of us.
Right.
Now, you're going to start here, and each year progress, right? It should grow.
Right.
But that's understanding your offense, which is earning money, understanding your defense, which is your budget, and then eventually, as you're out of chaos where you're trying to scramble to pay your bills every month, and you get to sort of the neutral ground,
Right.
stability,
Right.
now you can start to look to the future.
Right.
Right? When you're hitting stability, you're no longer living at 29% on, you know, those evil friends of yours, right? Chase Visa,
Yes.
American Express, MasterCard, they're killers. They're silent killers,
Yes,
those three
they
best
are, and they're so expensive
Right.
to maintain and keep around.
You're
Yes.
right. You're thinking like 36% a
Yeah.
year. Someone decided that was legal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you say to me, well, I have a couple thousand in the bank. I know, but that's earning 2.5%.
Exactly.
And you're paying your evil twin sister, Discover, 36, 34, whatever the number is. But
Yes.
you have to get out of that mode. So you're going to do the hard work to work through that. And it may take you, you know, a year or two. But I have a son who I'm a guardian to, and, you know, he didn't grow up in that kind of, he grew up in a tough environment.
Right.
And I would always say to him, you know, Amadou, what's 90 minus 30? And he, you know, at first, of course, he said, well, you know, it's got to be a trick question, right? Because it's 60.
Right.
I said, well, think of it this way. It's the rest of your life.
Right.
And, you know, who do you want to be? Because right now you're in high school and you're one of the cool guys, but there's always some cool guy that everyone loves and hates at the same time. And that person rotates like every 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But if you can get your life under control and you're willing to sacrifice something for today so you can have more later, you can be that cool guy for 60 years.
Yeah.
And now people are going to gravitate to you.
Yeah.
People want to work with you. People want to be with you. People want to hear what you have to say.
Right.
Well, that's a nice way to live.
Yeah, it is.
So if you can have some self-control early, I know it's not that popular. I know sometimes you got to make a decision like, I'm not going to go out to eat and spend $250 I don't really have, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but every place I go, it just seems to get more expensive to eat.
Yep.
So you got to have some balance there.
Yeah.
And as you begin that process and start to really weigh out what's important to you versus what's not, and maybe you give up 1 or 2 friendships that might be more challenging because they're based on that,
Right.
you can begin to change the pendulum. And it's amazing as you begin to change that, how quickly you feel better about yourself. And as we feel better about ourselves, it always seems that good things seem to happen, right? I
Right.
mean, we've all heard that from other people. We felt it ourselves. But how consistent can we be with it?
Right.
So over the long term, if you can gain that consistency, you can really set yourself free.
I feel that sounds so good and it makes so much sense. But how do we learn that, and what age should we be literally teaching that? I know you said that you're speaking to someone in your life now who's a youth and you're teaching him that, but what should we be as parents be telling our children, and at what age should we be sharing that with them? Because in most cases, in most family and households, the children are seeing how the parents live.
Right, absolutely.
You know, and how
Yep.
they're maintaining their lifestyle. And they just aspire to do the same. I'm going to be honest, my daughter, she saw me, I have a job and I'm making great money and I'm out traveling and I'm going to dinner every other week or every other day with my friends and my husband and whoever else, and I'm spending money and I'm not really worried about the future. And the future that I'm thinking about, I'm thinking that my 401k plan is going to provide for, which is not always the case. So therefore, she's seeing me living this lifestyle that she now aspires to live when she finally gets her job, and she's now an adult, and she is. And I feel that I didn't instill in her the sort of the path that she should take to ensure that she has a bright financial future and that she's grounded in her finances. I feel that she's kind of frivolous with her money, you know? So at what age should we be teaching them, and what should we be showing them from the inside of the home to ensure that they gain that knowledge that you're now teaching your son?
Well, I feel like it's never too early,
Okay.
right? Young people, 10-year-old, 8-year-old is going into a store and spending some money already. They have a debit card, they ask their parents for $20, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And beginning to understand, you know, if you give your 10-year-old $20 a week, if that's what it is, I don't know, but let's just say it is. But that's it for the week.
Right.
And now they have to start to balance out, okay, what do I want to buy? How much does it really cost? And you begin the concept of budgeting.
Right.
That's crucial. The earlier, the better.
Right.
And I was talking to someone today, they're having a baby, and we talked about what should grandma and grandpa buy them? Right? What should they buy them that could really help the child? So for a lot of parents, they have a 401k,
Right.
and it may or may not cover everything down the road. We're not sure. But I do know one thing. It won't cover down the road and take care of their children if, God forbid, something were to happen to one of the kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you have to cover all the medical bills.
Yeah.
Or they're not capable of working anymore because of an accident.
Right.
Things can happen.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be a downer or negative at all. But with some reasonable planning, you can change that spectrum. You can begin to invest early.
Right.
And in this case, I said grandma and grandpa should take $300 a month and put it into the Vanguard Total Stock Market Fund. So basically a fund that monitors the whole market.
Right.
It has very low cost, so it's very easy. It allows you to invest very small increments. So if you wanted to, you could open an account and put $50 a week in it, or $50 a month, or $10. So it's one of those funds that's set up for all of us, anybody. But if grandma and grandpa put $300 a month in for the first 10 years of the child's life, and it did nothing,
Yeah.
in year 30, based on historical returns, it's worth about $750,000. But in year 40, so 30 years of growth, it's worth $2.2 million. Now, I know in 40 years from now, 30 years from now, $2.2 million may not be a lot. But you and I would both feel a lot better going to sleep with $2.2 million in the bank, still
Yes.
growing too, by the
Yes,
way.
that's right.
We feel a lot better.
Yes.
And grandma and grandpa, for the first 10 years, laid out $300 a month, $36,000 we're only talking about. I'm not saying you got to be, you don't have to be Donald Trump, no political,
Yeah.
but you don't have to be super rich to do that.
Right.
You could have a hard decision to make and eat out one time less per week, one less Chinese food delivery to the house
Yeah.
per week, and figure out $250, $300 in today's world.
Yeah.
Right? That's different, 15 years ago,
Right.
but now it's reality,
It is.
unfortunately.
Yes.
So we can begin to figure that out. And if we're doing that early, we can ensure we have more flexibility later. And I feel like one of the worst parts of my whole education in the schools here in America was we spent almost zero time on this.
No, you're right.
It's horrible.
You're right.
It doesn't matter if you came from a really poor neighborhood challenge
Yeah.
or a really good neighborhood.
That's right.
We still in those schools spend almost zero
Zero
time on this.
Exactly.
It's horrible.
Isn't that sad?
I mean, it's
but
crazy.
think about, what I did remember is as soon as I graduated high school, the credit card companies were bombarding me
Attack
with
mode.
attacking.
It's unbelievable.
Yes, start a credit, get your credit card,
Yeah.
here's a loan, here's some money, but not telling you how to manage it. So that's beautiful
Yeah.
that you said that we need to start doing it for our children as soon as they are born, actually, is setting them up for their financial success.
I mean, the whole credit card thing is just crazy, right? A friend of mine back then, his dog got a credit card.
No
Right?
way.
They sent it to Chase Johnson, and they, had his address, and they just assumed it was a person. So this, obviously, the computer screener screwed up, but he got a Visa card. The dog.
You got a Visa
So
card.
of course, my friend, being the comedian, signed the app for
Yup,
the dog
yup.
and sent it in. But
OMG.
your point is well taken. I mean, Discover, MasterCard, Visa. I'm not trying to pick on them, but
right.
these
That's
different
reality.
outlets are attacking young people, and the young people don't even know sometimes you have to pay it back.
No.
Right? Till all of a sudden they have a problem and they're getting all these 800 phone calls,
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure out why people are calling them.
Yeah.
And now they go to their parents for the first time and say, we have a problem.
Yep.
Like, what do you mean
Exactly.
we have a problem?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, you didn't realize that I had you co-sign for this because they told me you had to, and I didn't think it was that important to discuss it with you, and thank God I only had a $500 limit, but now we owe somebody $500.
But now thank you, with the interest accruing every
Right.
single month. You know what I
Right.
mean? And a lot of us, good intentions. I got a job. I'll be good. I'm going to pay
100%.
it. I'm going to pay it. And then as soon as you went out and spent more money hanging out with your friend and you could afford to pay your credit card bill, then that's when you just default on the card totally. And you don't feel
Absolutely.
that there's any repercussions from that because you're not looking at the long term. And that's what we have to get our kids to see is the long term effects of the choices that they make. So I'm glad that you shared that.
Your credit report is basically your personal report card.
It's a report card.
Even if you're not a straight A student, in life, this report card is a very important tool.
Right.
You want to be able to use it to your advantage and not have it work against you.
Exactly.
And it's something you control.
Yeah.
It takes some discipline because, to your point, it's a lot of fun to go spend whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if you do that, it's going to take you to a really tough place to get back from.
Yeah.
Some modesty, humility, using it wisely, balancing, all boring,
Yes.
really horrible kind of words.
Yes.
Because when your parents use them, you're like, ugh,
I don't
that's so
wanna hear
uncool.
that. Exactly.
But the reality is, if you do it now, you could have a lot later.
Yes.
And, again, do you want to be the coolest person in the room for 60 years?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to think about that.
Do you want financial freedom,
Yeah.
which all of us want? I'm so glad that you shared that, and we do. We need to budget even as adults, not just kids. The parents, I need to learn how to budget.
Yeah.
We always assume because I have a job, because I have the income, because I have the credit cards, that I'm going to be all right, I'm going to be able to pay it. And we now have so many people that have lost their jobs, that they had their jobs for
Right.
20, 25, 30 years. We had so many people that got laid off from jobs, not just being fired because of, you know, the world and what's going on politically, but because their job was no longer needed.
Right.
So, you know, we need to prepare for those moments, and we don't look at that. And again, the 401k plan, I had a nice sum of money in my 401k, and as soon as the political climate changed, my 401k went plunging. So it's so volatile that I can't even say that I have a nice nest egg for my future. Now, it will probably bounce back up and
Yes.
things of that nature, but I need to diversify and have more of an income coming in from somewhere else so that I can ensure that I'm thriving and not just surviving in case something happens. So help me with the adults now. What does a good financial positioning look like for an adult?
Well, for adults, you know, people younger than myself, but somewhere, let's say 40 to 60, the more money that you can put into assets that can throw off passive income for you, so that you're not killing yourself on a daily basis to earn the money, is crucial, right? You
Right.
want to get away from selling your time for money
Right.
and having the money work for you,
Right.
right? Because, listen, the best employees of the world are dead presidents,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Currency is really the best employee. It doesn't ask for a day off. It doesn't get sick.
And they're dead.
It doesn't ask for union benefits.
Yeah.
It's not asking you for a raise. It's not asking you for 2 extra weeks off next year.
Yeah.
It doesn't come in on a Thursday and say, I have an emergency wedding across the country.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be out. So when you learn to start to make that change and go to places that can provide you a rate of return on your money, and you start to see that kind of passive income being generated for yourself, you can begin to feel better inside
Right.
and feel more secure about the future.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people are really pent up about money, which I get.
Yeah.
But really, at the end of the day, we're all after the same thing, and that's really like time freedom.
Yeah.
We want to live the
Live.
way we want to live, right?
Yes.
Now, I know it takes some money to do that, but most people wouldn't even be able to sit down and in a short paragraph tell you what it actually looks like to them. So maybe we should start there. And as we start to write that out, we can get some clarity.
Right.
Right? As adults, we're inundated with so many different things coming at us so fast. You know, jobs, careers, changes, relationships, kids' relationships, their schools, and you know, hopefully everybody's healthy and there are issues to deal with, and it's a lot to deal with.
Right.
So if you're not going to be organized in what you see as your clear path, how will it ever be clear? I know that sounds sort of
I get
circular,
it.
but
No, I
you know,
get it.
a lot of adults have never spent the time to do that.
Right.
You know, a lot of times when I'm talking, after my, you know, hello, my name is, I'll ask the question, like, what's the single most important financial goal for yourself for the next 12 months? And you can see in the audience people struggling to write that down.
Yeah.
Well, how can you achieve it if you don't even know what it is?
Yep. Yeah.
And yes, it's going to evolve every 3 months or 6 months or once a year. But you should be looking at that and having small milestone so that you can feel good about it, right? And you know, one of my mentees, she achieves a certain milestone. I said, look, go treat yourself for something for a couple $100 for the day, right? Go have, you know, 6 hours. Don't go to the casino and blow $3,000.
Right. Right.
But it's okay to take $250 and feel good.
Right.
Because you're rewarding yourself for having that
earned it.
discipline for 90 days,
Yeah.
right? And now let's move forward again.
Right.
Feeling that we're not depriving ourselves so we always feel like miserable
Yeah.
and it's a horrible way to live.
Thank you.
Because
I'm
that's
gonna
how
be
a lot of people
poor.
feel, right? Right,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah.
Or even if you're not, I feel like I'm living that way and it's horrible.
Yes.
You could see the facial expressions
Yeah.
in the shoulders and people hate that.
Yes.
I hate it too.
Yeah.
So maybe if we help ourselves with a little, you know, a little reward now and then for the discipline that we maintain, we could feel better about it, and then it actually gets easier, not harder anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you actually want it because you can see the results.
Yeah.
I thought one of the coolest things that I'd experienced with one of my buddies in the last couple of months, I called him up on a Tuesday afternoon, and I'm talking about, Anth, where are you? It sounds weird in the background. I could hear noises and what. Oh, it's like I'm out in the woods taking a hike with my wife. It's like Tuesday, 1:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
Come on now. How many people have worked for 20 years
Yes.
and wouldn't kill
Yep.
for a Tuesday afternoon with no bosses yelling at you,
Yep.
or you own the company and not everybody pulling at you all day, and you and I could go for a walk for an
Yeah,
hour.
For an hour and
And then I can go
change.
back and the phone wasn't attached to my head.
Yeah.
I wasn't all stressed. Like,
Yeah.
that's living.
Yes, that is. You're
And
absolutely right.
I'm not talking about spending money. I'm talking
No.
about taking a walk.
Yes.
That's
Taking
power.
in the fresh air and
that's
enjoying the
power.
conversation. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And
Wow.
I think at the core, regardless of where we grew up, what we look like, that's what we all want.
Yeah.
I think we all share that.
So it's like, it doesn't have to be a grind then all the time.
No.
It doesn't. So where do we put our interest? Where do we put our effort so that we are allowing the money to make money around us and we are actually living? What do you suggest?
Well, look, I'm not a financial planner by license. I'm not licensed to do anything, and it's solely my personal opinion. So you need to go talk to whomever you trust, or you have advisors, you just should discuss it with them to make sure it works for you. I'm not telling you whatever I'm saying works for you, guaranteed, okay? But first thing you got to do, in my humble opinion, is to develop a long-range mentality,
Okay.
all right? Because to your point with your 401k going up and down as the market gyrates, you're right. But if you look back 4 years when the market was at, I don't remember the number, but say it was 36,000, and now it just hit 50,000 recently, every day didn't go straight up.
Right.
And every month didn't go straight up.
Right.
So, you have to keep things in perspective, and if you can look at things long range, you're winning.
Right.
But the key is to never stop, too.
Right.
You shouldn't try to time investments.
Right.
You should allow investments to work over time for you. Very different approach, right? There's never the wrong time. Most real wealth is made in the height of fear, right? I know that's like a famous Warren Buffett concept, statement. When everybody is really greedy, I'm fearful because it's too good. And when everybody's really afraid, I get greedy because now assets are trading
Yeah.
at a fair price.
Yeah.
But for all of us that are just doing our day-to-day and putting away small amounts of money incrementally, you just got to keep doing that every month. Don't, the market looks toppy, I'm going to sell, or, I'm not sure what the real estate market's going to do. Because look, I've been in the real estate markets for about 30 years now, and not everything's been a picnic. But I can tell you, since the beginning of marking time, so regardless of what Bible you believe in or read or influenced by, somebody paid for a place to live. It might have been dollars, crops, some kind of currency, right? And over time, I'm sure you would agree that all that real estate went up in value.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
At
can't
some
worry
point.
about the day-to-day. Yes, of course you want to make smart investments. I'm not saying don't pay attention. Don't do what really makes sense. But if everyone's doing it, there's a chance it's probably not the smartest thing in the world.
Right.
And it's hard to step away from that and be objective. But depending on your circle of friends, your circle of influence, you're going to get some help with that.
Right.
And you're going to listen and hear what they're thinking about and doing. You can use amazing tools like Google. You can use YouTube. There's a lot of great knowledge to learn. You can study on a thing called Udemy online, which is sort of like a free college online university.
Oh, wow.
So that has great coursework that you can,
Okay.
for almost some of them are free,
Right.
literally. You can study finance, you can learn about different investments. So the opportunity of what's out there today is just unbelievable. But again, you have a phone, you have all the same information in that phone as the person who's sitting at Harvard right now,
Yep.
and you're in high school.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
That's on you.
Yeah.
Those those issues, cultural, financial, bias, I don't want to say they're gone, they're not. Obviously, we have major issues to still overcome in our country.
Right.
But everyone has the $99 magic tool.
Yeah.
And all the information is the exact same,
Yeah.
regardless of where you are.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do with that? You can really change your life quick using it correctly.
Utilize
Yeah.
the information that is at hand, that is before you. I don't
For
take
free.
it for granted, and a lot of time
$99
for free.
a month.
Yeah, for free. I think we have to get out of this immediate mentality
Yes.
that everything has to be instantaneous. And I think that that's you know, what even, because I saw with my daughter when she was in college that a lot of her friends, they were doing these investments on their phone. I can't remember the names, but all of these investments over the phone, and they were making money, but they was pulling them out just as quickly as they were making it. Instead of, like you said, sitting on it for a little while and kind of just set it and forget it and let it do what it do until, you know, you reach that ripe old age, or when you feel it's time that you can pull out of the investment or whatever you're putting your money into. But I feel that we have the mentality of, I put it in, I saw it went up a little bit, now it's time for me to take it out because I can use it now. How do we get out of that mentality real quick before we move out of time?
Well, I feel like one of the hardest things for people to do is to take a loss.
Yeah.
People hate to take a loss.
Yeah.
But I would tell anyone, you know, if you looked at your stock market holdings and you really want to be objective, you take a look at what has the best relative strength. Even when things are going down, there are going to be some that go down a lot less than the others. And the ones that go down the most, I know this sounds counter to what everybody wants to do not buy more, actually sell it, take the money, and buy more of the ones that are outperforming. Because as things start to repair themselves, those that have better relative strength, the ones that are outperforming, are going to go up much faster.
Right.
You're not just going to earn your money back, you're going to now make profit. The other ones, you're hoping, which is a bad strategy, are going to come back up. And they've already shown that they're weak.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee people are going to gravitate back to the weakness.
Right.
But they will always gravitate to strength in everything we do in life. So you have that real life example to know that that's real.
Right.
Now, it's really hard to be disciplined to do that, right? Because people hate to take losses.
Right.
But
Yes.
that's what you got to do.
We do. And that's the thing. I think in my generation, and my parents' generation, they were afraid of investing in the stock market at that time, or investing in anything for that, except themselves, because I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. It's like bet on yourself, put your dollars into yourself, but they were all the money that you were making from work. It wasn't you investing in something. But I think it's because they were afraid of the loss. It was almost like going to a casino, putting that money
That's what it
into,
felt like.
yes, exactly,
Right.
is what it felt like. So we just have to get out of that. We have to realize that it's going to be volatile, but there is a possibility that it will be a great success as well. And that's what we have to bank and pray on.
Well, I think the overall market has been a great success.
Right.
Betting on any or investing in any one individual stock is very difficult. You're never going to know what you need to know.
Right.
You're only going to know what they let you know.
Right.
But when you are on the whole is going to grow over time.
Right.
And you've taken the risk of any one out. That's what we like to help people with.
Okay.
So to your set it and forget it, I would set it and keep adding to it.
Okay.
And not be stressed out about every week's gyration.
Yes.
Right? Stay calm, do things that make sense in your life and your financial life. And together, those things will lead you to a nice place, and you'll have inner peace and feel good.
Yeah.
And solid, because everything works better when we're feeling good and solid.
Yeah, you're right.
I can say for myself, I know that's absolutely true.
Yeah, you're right. I believe it. All right. Well, time is winding down. I got so much more I want to ask you, but I want you to tell me this. If we truly desire generational wealth, what habits do we need to stop immediately?
You need to look at your budget. If you have college debt, you don't belong in Starbucks.
Okay.
You need to get that paid off.
Okay.
Right? Cleaning those types of things up so you're not paying 29% on credit cards, right? And now you begin to stabilize, and you can turn and now take that money and put it into something that's going to start earning money for you.
Right.
The sooner you can get there, that should be your number one goal, honestly.
Right.
It's just getting stable and flipping the switch and getting to the point where you can invest. Right. It doesn't matter if you're 22, 32, 42, etc. It's never too late. There are examples of billionaires who didn't even start till they were 60-something. There are examples of billionaires that are 22. One of the problems, one of the challenges, one of the obstacles that we live in today, we live in a 30 to 90 second world on Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram are people hoping to be actors and actresses or the equivalent in real life of. You have no idea if it's real.
Yeah.
Don't spend time worried about it. Enjoy it, have fun with it for a few seconds, and let it go. Let it go.
Yes.
Do not use that as your yardstick. The most important person in your life is yourself. And I don't mean that to be nasty to anybody else. You can be really kind to others. It will come back in spades. It costs you nothing. Maybe a second or two here and there. But you don't know how you're impacting somebody else's life. And someone can come back to you years later, come to you and say, look, you did something nice for me. I'm in a very different place now, and I'd like to help you. You don't know.
Yeah.
I've had it happen for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing when it happens. It's very humbling.
I love it.
You know, for people everywhere, though, just cleaning up the immediate budget, getting things under control, whether it's, you know, again, making a modest amount of money, making more, but it's not just about how much money you make, it's what you're in control of, right?
Yeah.
And that comes down to budgeting.
Yeah. All right.
It's boring, but real.
It is. It's so boring. But you said it a number of times, and clearly that is important, and that's what we need to be doing. And as he mentioned, you are enough. And realize that as well. You are enough. And you should be investing in you first and foremost so that when you are at that ripe old age, you're not stressed out and worried about how you're going to survive, who's going to take care of you, where you're going to live. We need to have all of that in place in at the onset of us being able to go out there and make the money work for us, you know? So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Joel, for being here. I'm going to put up your information. If you guys want to learn more about him and his amazing business that he works for, you're the co-founder of Burr Loans, right?
Yes.
Okay, co-founder and managing director. It is burr.com. Please reach out to him. You can email him as well as give him a call, and he will share more jewels with you, more information and education for how you can gain financial freedom right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but right now. And I think it is important. Here's also his book. You wrote 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. So apropos, financial freedom. Please go out. That's on Amazon, right?
Yes.
You can go and get that on Amazon. 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. Tell them real quick, 30 seconds or less, about your class that you have coming up.
So we have a training program that's interactive online. It's very simple. It basically takes you from your beginning steps of, you know, you're in chaos to stability, to beginning to invest and understanding different types of investments, what to look for, how to analyze them, what fits for you, what's right for you, and where you want to go with that long term to your point, begin to build generational long-term wealth, financial freedom, time freedom.
I love
Build
it.
a life you love instead of one you're trying to survive.
All right, well, you give him a call and he will share all the details on that. And I want to get real quick to the Dare to Be You. And it is dare to be financially fearless. Dare to learn what you weren't taught and position yourself for greater opportunity. Dare to strengthen your foundation and build beyond today. Financial freedom is more than money. It's creating generational wealth and leaving a legacy that lasts. So dare to be you, empowered, positioned, and built for legacy. I'd like to thank you guys so much for tuning in to another wonderful episode with our guest today, Mr. Joel Kraut, who dropped some jewels, my friend. He dropped some jewels, please. If I know you're tired of hearing it, the B word, budget, budget, budget. That's what we need to do to ensure that we will gain financial freedom and be able to leave generational wealth for those that come behind us. Thank you so much, Joel, for being here.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you.
Oh,
Thank
God,
you, LeShawn.
You were filled with a wealth of information, and I
Thanks.
appreciate it. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to another fabulous episode of Our Unity. Please remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. So let's go out there and be some love, share some love, and just walk in love. We will see you in 2 weeks here on Our Unity. Have a wonderful night. Remember, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Say good night, Joel.
Good night, everybody. Have a great time.
Good night.
To your future.
To your future.